It depends. If you've just got employment income, perhaps you've got 3 or 4 little part-time jobs, you don't need to do a tax return because all your income is accounted under pay as you earn. HMRC recently introduced something called the trading allowance, whereby if you've got income under £1,000 a year from, say, selling things on eBay or perhaps having a craft stall at a market, and your income's under £1,000, you wouldn't need to do a tax return for that either. If your income is over £1,000 but your expenses are less than £1,000, you might want to apply the trading allowance against that income rather than using your expenses, because it will end up being more tax efficient for you. Depending on what you've got to include on your tax return, it can be relatively easy. If you've just got some employment income and some dividends, you'll probably fairly easily be able to do your own tax return. If you've got things like capital gains or overseas income or property income, it can be quite complicated as to looking at what can and can't be allowed. For instance, on property income, if you are replacing things like a boiler, that would be an allowable cost. But if you're doing other bits and pieces, so for instance you're putting in an upgrade to a kitchen where it's a better kitchen than one you've got in there, that actually isn't allowable against property income, and therefore if you're doing it yourself, there's potentially areas where you can make errors on your tax return. If you think that you're not comfortable doing your own tax return and you're not sure what to or not to include, it's always worth seeking professional help. If you've got lots of other income, like property income, or you're a director of a business, or you've got self-employment income, perhaps some investments, dividends, savings, you will need to do a tax return and need to register for self-assessment. The deadline for that is the 6th of October, following the end of the tax year.